So I just wanted to explain where it all started. I started out window cleaning over 30 years ago from school. I did my time on the ladders. I was around for the bucket on the belt revolution. But then I got into the pure water system around, I think, about 2006. And I thought straight away was, how do we control this water? How do we turn it on and off? I mean, there were taps at the top of the pole, but all the time you're extending or pulling hose around, it's pumping out. So I looked into solutions, and there was actually a UK company called RF Solutions, and they had remote controls, FM, where I could control the pump on and off in the van, which was fine, but the reception wasn't great. And then they had a system where you could actually see that it had received the signal. A little LED went green, which was fancy. But it still didn't work. It didn't have the instant response that I needed, because obviously when you turn off the pump in your van, if it receives reception, the flow just slowly turns off like to a dribble, and then when you want it on again, it picks up slowly because you've got 100 meters of hose. I wanted instant response, like on, off, between windows, to save as much water as I could, because that was important to me at the time. And it still is, especially with the water rates at the minute. So where I started off with was a little solenoid valve like this, called an appliance valve. This takes 8mm pipe, and I had it in a 68mm drain pipe, a short section, with funnels, literally plastic funnels either side, and some cable glands, where the real hose came in and the pole hose went out. And it worked fine. The only thing is you were dragging it around, so it was a big thing between your real hose and your pole hose. So I refined the design, and I also got into the murky world of electronics. I ended up making myself a smaller version, which was quite sleek, and I enjoyed making it. And you see the little SMD circuit board in there, but you still dragged it around, and I didn't like it, because the way I have it in the minute, as I go straight from the reel straight up the pole, no connections at all. That's how I like to do it. So that didn't work for me. Then I had a brainwave that I could move the valve with different kinds of technology to the top of the pole. So that's where I went next. And we're talking about, I remember an email I sent to Alex at Gardner Pole Systems in 2010. So it's going back a long way. So this is the another version I tried. Now you'll recognise this type of gooseneck, and I basically kept this section of the gooseneck, but made my own version of this here. And so the valve sat in this, which was okay. I used that for a couple of years, and then this didn't see much light of day, but that was another version. These were all kind of gooseneck ideas, so the top of the pole but as part of the gooseneck, which worked well, but strength was an issue, and that's where you could get failures. And also I realised that it became apparent that people want to use their own goosenecks, their own setup, their own system. So that's why it eventually evolved into this, whereas it fits seamlessly into your setup that you've already got, and it just clamps between the brush and the brush adapter.